Amanda here, and today I have another book haul for you guys. I hope you guys are doing well. I have kind of put together all of the last book hauls that I've had, that I've gone out and purchased, and put them all into one video together, just kind of so we can catch up, because I've been doing book hauls a lot lately and I have a lot of different ideas for videos coming up, so hopefully you guys don't mind a little bit longer of a book haul today. The first thing that I did get was this sweater. I don't know if you can read it. It just says Buffalo Bill's Body Lotion, and then at the bottom it says it rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again, and then it just says The Silence of the Lambs here, 1991. This was from my mother-in-law, so that was really sweet of her. She came by and dropped it off when me and my husband were sick, so that was a nice little gift. So this was new, and then also I'm just going to be showing you books that I got from the bookstore last week, a week before then, and then also a book haul that I purchased back in like December. Again, these are both from my used bookstore, and these were half off, so these are just a few bucks a piece. So I'm going to be going through and showing you those. There's horror, there's sci-fi, there's mystery, there's thriller, and then there are a few odds and ends that don't fit into kind of any of those. I think I even purchased like a non-fiction type, some just, you know, odds and ends. So let's just get into it. Okay, so you guys are gonna be like, why did you buy this? So I actually bought this book, and it's just Meg, a novel of deep terror by Steve Alton. And if you see her glow, it's too late. It says many years ago. This stupid price tag is over it, so I can't read it. Hold on. Oh no, it's ripping. Oh no, oh no. Disaster. Mayday, mayday. Okay, so it says many years ago, on a top secret scientific exploratory dive into the Pacific Ocean's deepest canyon, Jonas Taylor found himself face to face with an ancient monster too horrifying for his modern mind to contemplate. He was the sole survivor of the creature's wrath that day, left with the almost unimaginable belief that the attack was the real Meg, a prehistoric Corcharodon megalodon. You know, science. All the experts sneered at the thought of the Meg, but she is indeed all too real. So she, interesting. Now something has stirred from the ocean depths. The ancient creature is rising, hurtling towards the surface in a deadly fury, ready to churn the tides of terror. Okay, so this is why I bought this book. I saw a Meg novelization at my used bookstore, and I thought that that's what this was. But listen here, buccos. I've never said that before. This was published in 1997. So I don't know if the movie The Meg has anything to do with it, or if they're just unrelated forms of art on the same topic. I really don't know. But anyways, I love creepy stuff in the ocean. Anything in the ocean, any movie in the ocean, I'm in. Any movie in space, I'm in. So I'm really interested to read this. It was $1.50, and again, I thought it was the novelization of the Megalodon movie that came out a few years back, but it's definitely not. So I am intrigued. This one is from one of the most brilliant imaginations of our time, Stephen King, written as Richard Bachman. So this is just thinner. I've never seen this movie. I've never read this book before. So I thought I would pick it up. I could do maybe a movie versus book comparison. So this again was $1.50, and it says Billy Halleck, good husband, loving father, is both beneficiary and victim of the American good life. He has an expensive home, a nice family, and a rewarding career as a lawyer, but he is also 50 pounds overweight, and as his doctor keeps reminding him, edging into heart attack country. Then, in a moment of carelessness, Billy sideswipes an old gypsy woman as she is crossing the street, and her ancient father passes a bizarre and terrible judgment on him. Thinner, the old gypsy man whispers and caresses his cheek like a lover. Just one word, but 6 weeks later and 93 pounds lighter, Billy Halleck is more than worried. He's terrified and desperate enough for one last gamble that will lead him to a nightmare showdown with the forces of evil melting the flesh away and away and away. Ellipses. Thinner. You know what that reminds me of? Do you guys remember that show? Man, I don't even remember what that show was called. Maybe it was the Are You Afraid of the Dark series? I can't remember, but there was an episode they had a curse put on them by somebody. That does anybody know what I'm talking about? Anyways, I just unlocked a memory from childhood I never thought that I would get back. Okay, this one, I have no idea what it's about, but please let me know if you guys have any idea what this is. But it's called Frozen Tears 2. It does not say anything on it, but look at how cool this book is. It just caught my attention, and I was like, oh, no, I need that. And this one was $2. I have no idea. It doesn't even say an author's name, nothing on the outside cover. So intriguing, right? And the weird thing about it is if you open it up, so same with the beginning, it just says Frozen Tears 2, and then also Frozen Tears 2, and then author index on page whatever, and then nothing, and then more nothing, and then it just goes into the second part of this book. I was like, I've never seen a book put together like this. I am so intrigued. It's also really long. It's like over 800 pages. And then if you flip to the back, then you have the information of the author around here somewhere. So let me find out who wrote it. Well, it says presented by John Russell, so I'm not sure if he's the writer, but then there's also author's index, and there's like Karl Marx and stuff in here. I have no idea what this is. I actually probably should have looked it up before I did this, but I don't know, it caught my attention and I'm like, okay, now I have to go figure out where the original is so that I can read the sequel. But is this not the most intriguing, interesting book you've ever seen? I gotta know what this is. So yeah, I had to buy that guy. And then the next thing that I got was by William Goldman, and this is called Control, a thriller author of Marathon Man and Magic. And there he is on the back, just looking all, what's his name? William Goldman-like. And this one just says, if there was one place in the world where Edith never expected trouble, it was Bloomingdale's. She loved the place, had practically grown up there. For Edith, it was a home away from home, even now that she and Philip were on Easy Street, now that her children were prospering mightily, now that she was gaining recognition as a promising new artist, and even now there was no place she would rather shop. And then it happened. Right there in the middle of her favorite store. Edith lost control. For Theo, things were even better. He had allowed himself to be seduced by Charlotte, the most beautiful creature he had ever seen. He was finally managing to make ends meet with his new teaching job, and best of all, his poetry was just about writing itself these days. And then it happened, right out of the blue. Theo lost control. Billy Boy was cool. He knew things. He didn't know how, but he just had hunches, and usually they were right. Lately, though, things hadn't been working out so well. He'd almost killed the guy in Illinois, and that rotten cop in New York was beginning to bug him. Maybe he'd have to wipe him out. Maybe it was all too much for him. Maybe he was losing control. And then it just says, Control is a chilling, bizarre, and terrifying novel. No. The most, chilling, bizarre, and terrifying novel ever written by William Goldman. It is filled with the psychological menace and shocking plot twists so characteristic of Mr. Goldman's fiction, the readers will be left breathless. So I don't know, that sounded really interesting. I've never heard of this writer, I don't think. Marathon Man. And then obviously the cover is really what grabbed me. I was like, it kind of reminded me of like a Robin Cook kind of cover. So yeah, maybe some psychological sci-fi type stuff in there. I'm not sure. I don't even remember. I think that was in the horror section actually. Oh, and then this one. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so this is called Stephen King's Circle of the Werewolf, and it's illustrated by Bernie Wrightson. And then there's just like the cutest little werewolf guy. This was $3. And this is just, I don't know, actually, okay. Terror began in January by the light of the full moon. The first scream came from the snowbound railwaymen who felt the fangs ripping out their throat. The next month there was a scream of ecstatic agony from a woman attacked by her snug bedroom. And then the stickers covering the rest. So I don't really know what it's about. But I think it's just a kind of like little short story novella about werewolves, but it's really cool because it's broken down first of all by months. I thought that was pretty unique. Kind of like any book that's written in a unique way that I haven't seen before, I'm already interested in. But this one I thought was so cool because if you flip through it, there are a bunch of these illustrations, and I just thought, what a cool book to have kind of like, I don't know, just like a rare Stephen King find. This isn't something that I've ever seen before. So I thought that this was really cool. This is definitely something unique, and I was really excited to find it. This was $3. My used bookstore is so cool. The next one that I found was another, I didn't realize that this was like all Stephen King books, but I got Joyland, Who Dares Enter the Fun House of Fear, Joyland, the new novel from Stephen King. So I'm not sure when this one was published, but I know that he has kind of like a crime series going on. And I don't even know which one this is in the crime series. This was published in 2013, but I think he came out recently with maybe the third part in the series. Anyways, I see these all the time at my Barnes and Noble, and then I saw it here for $2.50, and I was like, well, I'll pick it up and I'll see how I like it. It was still in the horror section, but I think it's written to be like a crime detective-y type story. I don't know. Let's read the back. It says, Stephen King returns with a novel of carny life and death. College student Devin Jones took a summer job at Joyland, hoping to forget the girl who broke his heart, but he wound up facing something far more terrible. The legacy of a vicious monster, the fate of a dying child, and the dark truths about life and what comes after that would change his life forever. Life is not always a butcher's game. Sometimes the prizes are real, sometimes they're precious. A riveting story about love and loss, about growing up and growing old, and about those who don't get to do either because death comes for them before their time. Joyland is Stephen King at the peak of his storytelling powers, with an emotional impact of King's masterpieces such as The Green Mile and The Shawshank Redemption, which I have not read or seen either of those. Joyland is at once a mystery, a horror story, and a bittersweet coming-of-age novel. So yeah, it seems like a crime novel type thing, but maybe mixed with a little bit of everything. Let me know if you guys have read his type of books like that. The next one that I picked up was Just Choke by Chuck Palahniuk, and this was $3. And this one I have had before, but I don't have anymore. I actually think I lent it to somebody a long time ago and I never got it back. So let me tell you a funny story about this. Okay, Chuck Palahniuk, I know I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I know that I never say it correctly, so sorry, but I was obsessed with Chuck Palahniuk in high school. I always had a Palahniuk book on me everywhere I went. So I was reading this book and I had it on my desk sitting like this in anatomy class, because I was taking anatomy class at the time. And my teacher comes up and she's like, oh, like it looks like an anatomy thing. Okay, let's read the back. So let's read the back together and see what impression my anatomy teacher in high school got. It says, Victor Mancini, a medical school dropout, is the anti-hero of our deranged times. Needing to pay elder care for his mother, Victor has devised an ingenious scam. He pretends to choke on a piece of food while dining in upscale restaurants. He allows himself to be saved by the fellow patrons who, feeling responsibility for Victor's life, go on to send checks to support him. When he's not pulling the stunt, Victor cruises sexual addiction recovery workshops for action, visits his adult mom, and spends his day working at a colonial theme park. Yeah, so this was her exact reaction. She picks up the back, she reads it, because she thinks it's like some medical thing, and she goes, okay, and sets it back on my desk and walks away. So anyways, it's been a long time since I've read that. I have a lot of Chuck Palahniuk books, but I kind of want to go revisit them and see if I feel the same about them as I did in high school, because like I said, he was like my master in high school. I loved him so much. Okay, so the next one that I got was, okay, this is called Carrion Comfort, and my husband, I don't know if you can see it, but he spilt sauce all on the top. It looks intentional, like I don't understand how he did it, but anyways, this is by Dan Simmons. I actually don't know what this is about, but let me explain why I got this one. I'm not sure where I put it, but I guess I'll just tell you. So recently, I think it was in my last book haul, I got that book by Grady Hendrix that was like horror novels from the 70s and 80s, and this was actually in there, and when I was flipping through it, I saw this, and I've seen this at Barnes & Noble before, but it was actually at my used bookstore for $3. So I was like, okay, well cool, it's in there, and yeah, I thought it was like kind of a cool find to be there. This was published in 1989. So this just says, the past, caught behind the lines of Hitler's final solution. Sal Lasky is one of the multitudes designed to die in the notorious Chelmno extermination camps. I'm probably pronouncing all of this wrong, I apologize. Until he rises to meet his fate and finds himself face to face with an evil far older and far greater than the Nazis themselves, the present. Compelled by the encounters to survive at all costs, so begins a journey that for Saul will span decades and cross continents, plunging into the darkest corners of 20th century history to reveal a secret society of beings who throughout the ages may exist behind the world's most horrible and violent events, killing from a distance and by darkly manipulative proxy. They are people with psychic abilities to use humans, read their minds, subjugate them to their wills, and experience through their senses, feed through their emotions, force them to acts of unspeakable aggressions. Each year, 3 of the most powerful of this hidden order meet to discuss their triumphs of induced bloodshed and deliberate destruction. But at this reunion, something will go terribly wrong. Saul's quest is about to reach its elusive object, drawing hunter and hunted alike into a struggle that will plume the depths of mankind's attraction to violence and determine the future of the world itself. It sounds like some, elusive being. I don't know if it's like aliens or humans or what, but after I remove the sauce, I will perhaps give that guy a read. It sounds interesting, right? And then I also got this guy, Hunter S. Thompson's Generation of Swine. This is Gonzo Papers Volume 2, Tales of Shame and Degradation in the 80s. It says, sprinkled liberally with quotes of revelation, brimming with tales of depravity and destructions. Generation of Swine is Hunter S. Thompson at his apocalyptic best. What he finds in America is deeply disturbing. As he puts it, huge brains, small necks, weak muscles, and fat wallets. Those are the dominant physical traits of the 80s. The Generation of Swine. So I think they're just little short, I don't know if they're like essay type papers or what, but I'm interested to read this. If you guys don't know who Hunter S. Thompson is, he wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, but he also wrote, all of his books are really entertaining. He wrote a book, he lived with the Hells Angels and wrote a book about living with them, like his experience with them. So yeah, I just thought I would add that to my Hunter S. Thompson collection. And then next up we have Great Irish Tales of Horror, A Treasury of Fear. You guys know that I love these little anthology series. I don't know that I've ever really read specifically Irish horror tales, so I thought that this would be an interesting book to read. It just says, horrors in the mind of the darkness, those who seek to indulge in nightmare. Okay, my camera angle is probably a little different, but just bear with me for a second. Oh, sorry, my thing stopped recording. So basically this was $3.50 and it just says, it's just different tales of different things like people returning from the dead, satanic figures, etc., etc. But I'm definitely interested to give this guy a read. So this was more, I would say, horror heavy, definitely Stephen King heavy, which I didn't realize. But these are, now I'm going to show you the books that I purchased back in, this must have been like December, maybe January, a long time ago I bought these. And I think these are more sci-fi leaning, but again, I think it's just a mixture of stuff. And again, just like my last book haul, I don't remember what's in these bags, so this is going to be a surprise for me as well. Alright, so the first one that we have are Follow My Tears, The Policeman Said, and this is by Philip K. Dick. He is the author of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and that is the book that the movie Blade Runner is based on. Yeah, I'm just interested to read more of his sci-fi work, so yeah, this is a sci-fi book. And this just says, on October 11th, the television star Jason Taverner is so famous that 30 million viewers eagerly watch his primetime show. On October 12th, Jason Taverner is not and has been, but never was, a man who has, the usual. This is just a Tuesday. A man who has lost not only his audience, but all proof of his existence. And in the claustrophobic betrayal state of Flow My Tears, the policeman said, loss of proof is synonymous with loss of life. So I don't know, it sounded really interesting, and I'm always ready for a Philip K. Dick book, so I got that bad boy. Oh, I guess I got 2 bad boys from him. This was $3. This is Philip K. Dick's Minority Report, which I know is a movie. Well, yeah, by Steven Spielberg it says, but I've never seen that. But I did recognize the title, and I was like, oh, I'll pick this up too. And it says, in the future, crime can be prevented. The Department of Pre-Crime has cut major crime by almost 100%. How? Simple. It is possible to look into the future and then arrest potential criminals, sentence them, and punish them before they actually commit the crime? The fuck? I'd be pissed. Nobody doubts the efficiency and fairness of the system until pre-crime Commissioner John Anderton finds himself accused. According to the department, at some point in the next 7 days, he will commit murder. This is really interesting. I gotta read this book. Have you guys seen this movie? I gotta watch the movie. In most cases, the pre-crime verdict is unanimous. This time, there was a difference of opinion among the people who foresee the future. Anderton knows the majority decision. If he is to save himself, he must find the minority report. And if he is to remain free, he must go on the run and as a convicted murderer. Philip K. Dick, brilliant original feature, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, wow, this sounds really cool. I feel like I've been missing out on some good sci-fi stuff. So again, $2.50 for that guy. Ooh, this is really cool. I forgot I even got this. So this is the Annotated Dracula. This is by Bram Stoker, and it just says Dracula by Bram Stoker with illustrations, notes, a bibliography by, no, yes, by Leonard Wolf. And then there's also illustrations with maps, drawings, and photographs. Bitch. It says forged from folklore and the authentic history, the greatest horror story ever told, the Annotated Dracula. And it contains hundreds of annotations that run side by side with the large text, the most remarkable illustrations ever created for a volume of this sort, 8 pages of detailed maps tracing Count Dracula's gory progress, victim by victim. Are you kidding? That sounds so cool. A detailed calendar of events plotted against the quarters of the moon, a must for any Dracula-phile. Ooh, I like that, Dracula-phile. An instant guide to every scene where Count Dracula makes an appearance and the guise in which he makes it, a selected filmography from the 1922's Nosferatu to Paul Morrissey's Dracula in 1974, an introduction, and more shit. So let me just kind of open this up and show you what it looks like. It's basically just the text, but then on the sides there are some pictures and also some like notes and annotations about the different, I don't know, I don't know exactly what they annotate or like what descriptions they give, but I don't know, I'm really interested in this. I think that it'll be a cool way to experience Dracula and to kind of like learn more maybe about the era in which it was written or the places that Dracula is in the novel, or I don't know. I'm really interested. So I just thought that this was such a cool book to add to my collection. This guy was only $5. Isn't that such a great find? I'm telling you, my used bookstore just has, and this is why I go to the bookstore so much, because even though I know I don't need more books, I could probably read for the next 5 years and not run out of things to read. I go and I find stuff like this and I'm like, thank goodness I went. So yeah, this just convinced me. I was going to take a break from going and now I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go this Friday. Okay, only a few left here. And by a few, I mean quite a bit. Oh, look at me go. So I got Later, which is connected to that Joyland novel, I believe. And I think I bought this one first, and that's probably why I bought that one. Again, I'm not sure which one came first or not. This one was published in 2021, so this one is the last, which means I'm either missing the first or the second, but that's okay. This one was only $2.50. Oh, it tells you, The Colorado Kid and Joyland. So I'm missing The Colorado Kid. But it also says for hard case crime. So I don't necessarily know that they're connected. I think that it's just they're all the same genre written in the same way. I think. I don't know. Let me know. I don't know anything. This just says the son of a struggling single mother, Jamie Conklin. Why does that sound so weird? Conklin. We'll call her Jamie. Just wants an ordinary childhood. Oh no, the son. We'll call him Jamie. But Jamie is no ordinary child. Born with an unnatural ability his mom urges him to keep secret, Jamie can see what no one else can see and learn what to do what no one else can learn. But the cost of using his ability is higher than Jamie could imagine, as he discovers when an NYPD detective draws him into the pursuit of a killer who has threatened to strike from beyond the grave. Interesting. Let me know what you guys think of these and which one your favorite was. Okay, the next one I got, I've never seen this book in my life. It's called Hawks Harbor, and this is by S.E. Hinton, international acclaimed bestseller of The Outsiders, which is probably why I bought it, because The Outsiders was like the first book that broke my heart as a child, and I sobbed for like 3 days. But it says here, vampires, pirates, and lusty French socialites. Now that's a recipe for a good time, an adult novel that can awaken the rough and tumble child in anyone. Okay. Maybe I should have read the back. Oh yeah, this is why I bought it, because it was the first novel from the author of The Outsiders in more than 15 years. And it says, an orphan and a bastard, Jamie grew up tough enough to handle almost anything. He survived foreign prisons, smugglers, pirates, gun runners, and shark attacks. Where's this guy going? But what he finds in the quiet town of Hawks Harbor, Delaware, was enough to drive him almost insane and changes him forever. I don't know. Okay. No price tag on this, but it was probably just like $1 or $2. Next up, we have The Martian by Andy Weir, and this was a movie. So this one was $3, and it just says, okay, there's dog hair all over my life. 6 days ago, astronaut Mark Watney became one of the first people to walk on Mars. Now he's sure that he'll be the first person to die there. After a dust storm forces his crew to evacuate the planet while thinking him dead, Mark finds himself stranded on Mars's surface with no way to signal Earth that he's alive. And even if he could get the word out, his supplies would be gone years before a rescue could arrive. Chances are, though, Mark won't have time to starve to death. The damaged machinery, unforgotten equipment, or plain old human error are much more likely to kill him first. Armed with nothing but his ingenuity, his engineering skills, and a gallows sense of humor that proves to be his greatest source of strength, Mark embarks on the dogged quest to stay alive. But will his resourcefulness be enough to overcome the impossible odds against him? I've never seen this movie, but this sounds obviously really interesting, so I'm definitely excited to read this. If you can't tell, I'm trying to dabble a little bit more in the sci-fi genre. That's me dabbling. Next we have Masterpieces of Terror and the Supernatural, a treasury of spellbinding tales, old and new, selected by Marvin K. This one just caught my attention because and it just says, this exceptional compilation, a variable collector's volume, contains more than 50 short stories, novellas, and poems, both classic and modern, by some of the most distinguished writers of all time. Masterful works by Bram Stoker, H.P. Lovecraft, Mary Shelley, Tennessee Williams, Isaac Asimov, in addition to little-known masterpieces of fantasy and terror, make this one of the most wide-ranging, outstanding collections of its kind. Of particular interest are the tales riddled in the dark by J.R.R. Tolkien. This selection, blah, blah, blah. Now sit back and prepare to be transfixed by tales of murder, madness, strange rituals, creatures from beyond the grave, and all manner of weird apparitions. They're sure to provide hours of irresistible spellbinding reads. So yeah, another just anthology. You guys know that I can't live without some horror anthologies, so I picked this guy up, and this was only $3.50. That is my giant book haul. Oh my gosh, did we finish? Is that it? Okay, cool. Again, expect another book haul around my birthday, which is on St. Patrick's Day, because I know I'll be buying books then. But other than that, I'm really going to try to limit my book buying for a while. I say that, but that is probably, I'm lying to you and myself. But that's my huge horror haul from the last who knows how long. Let me know what book you think is the most interesting, and I will see you. I'm trying to post Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I will see you Tuesday and Thursday with another horror video. Bye, guys.